Hey everybody, thank you for joining me. I am standing next to Sandie Walker. She is the mayoral candidate here in York City, a Democrat, and also running unopposed. So Sandie, thank you so much for joining us here today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me how you're feeling. Tell me how you're feeling right now, just 1 week away from the mayoral race.
Extremely excited. We have a united front here in the city of York, so it's always good to move in that direction. Obviously, I'm running unopposed, so having the support of our community means a lot to me.
And it's been a lot of back and forth here in York City. So tell me about what that's been like as now, what is, being the unopposed candidate. What's that like?
Well, very unconventional campaign. Usually you have multiple people running for the office. Again, I appreciate the support from Mayor Helfrich. He withdrew and endorsed me. So he has opened his doors just for me to get a bit more familiar with this side of government. I served on city council and on the school board, so I'm very familiar. But leading up to the primary, excited and appreciate our community support.
Amazing, thank you. So I want to jump into three big topics here. And the first one that I want to talk about is I want to talk about immigration. Okay, so we know that, Helfrich in the past has battled city council on this front there, talking about immigration. He chose to veto the bill about making it a welcoming city for immigrants. So tell me, kind of, where do you stand on that? Do you think that you're going to kind of continue that?
Well, Mayor Helfrich, he actually vetoed the Trust Act. So under Mayor Bracy, York was already identified as a welcoming city. Mayor Helfrich made it very clear of why he vetoed the Trust Act, and there were some council members who agreed and some who did not agree. When it comes to that, and for me, if the supporters will have me serve as mayor, I would like to form an immigration policy committee, and then that committee would make recommendations to executive branch, to legislative branch, and make sure our community understands is on the same page. So we don't know, with a lot of executive orders coming down from the president, it can be a bit confusing for small cities like ours. So we just want to make sure we have an understanding. When it comes to the Trust Act, I think that there can be some type of workaround, but we're already a welcoming city under Mayor Bracy, and Mayor Helfrich continued that. Right now we're in a climate where it's very unsettling. So you don't want to do anything that unnecessarily rocks the boat, but you want to make sure our citizens feel protected, and that's what I plan to do.
Thank you. So just building off of that a little bit, sorry, the rain is it's getting all over my phone and stuff here. I do have a list of questions for you. So, let's talk about downtown business. Let's switch there. We just recently did a report on that. Our reporter, Sarah Burns, talked about what's happening on North George Street. So where do you stand on that issue? I know there's been some back and forth there as well.
Well, I served on city council when the mayor did agree to the closure. It supports our restaurants. I do think that there just needs to be some more communication between our restaurant owners, between the safety, traffic correspondence from the community, and in the end, it does fall on the mayor. I'm not opposed to what the restaurants want, but I also want community input. So as of now, it's a bit early for me to give an official answer when it comes to that, but I'm willing to bring all parties to the table to see if we can come to an agreement.
What are you hearing from some people in the community about this topic?
Well, in government, you have people that support it, you have people who don't support it. And so some people are happy that the street is actually opened again. Some are complaining about the cement structures being an eyesore. So you get mixed reviews, you get mixed feelings. That comes along with serving in this capacity.
Right, and the parking too, of course, that was also an issue.
Parking and loading as well for the businesses. So again, you have the restaurant owners, the businesses that have their view, and then you have our community. So it's mixed all the way around.
And not just on North George Street, though. Talk to me about what your plans are for helping to build growth within the city here when it comes to our businesses.
Well, the wonderful thing is we have great organizations like the York County Economic Alliance, we have Downtown Inc., and so I rely on experts to give me information. So it would be sitting at the table with those experts, evaluating that information and seeing what's best for our city to move forward.
Thank you. And just lastly, the last topic we have here is talking about crime. So, how will you continue to have a collaborative relationship between Muldrow and Mayor Helfrich, and keeping crime rates low? We just got a report this morning from Captain Lentz. 4 shootings total this year, 2 fatal, non-fatal. So tell me what your answer to that would be.
Well, my record speaks for itself. When I served on city council with ARPA, we approved over $3 million at the time for our police department. To keep our city safe is a priority, and it's mandatory, it's a necessity. So we will continue to support initiatives. York City is a prime example of what can be done when you think outside of the box when it comes to approaching violence. We'll continue to support GVI.
Yeah, so talk to me about your plans with GVI. So you say you're continuing to support them, but what does that mean going forward? How will people in the city be able to see change happening?
So the breakdown with GVI, we have Commissioner Muldrow and then we have Tiff Lowe. They've done a wonderful job with connecting with our residents that are potential risk, our residents that are at risk when it comes to crime and violence, through various outreach efforts. And so with Commissioner Muldrow, I trust his recommendations and what he brings to the table. It's not necessarily up to me to come up with anything out of the ordinary or out of the box. Obviously, it's working. We went over 100 days without a homicide, so we'll continue to move into that direction. And when you rely on your experts, your cabinet, your directors to give those recommendations, you evaluate that information and you make a decision to move forward. But GVI was brought here under Mayor Bracey. And so over the years, with the support and the funding for that positions, you're starting to see the results. And it's been a wonderful thing to see over the past couple of years.
So obviously you talk about that 100-day streak, but we have seen some recent cases obviously happening around here. So what do you think maybe went wrong, or how do we get ahead of that to keep that 100-day streak going again?
Honestly, I think it's part of it. And I think we're very fortunate to have been able to experience that 100 days. Sitting down at the table, evaluating, and which the police department does, and they bring their recommendations to cabinet and to the mayor. You want to continue what you have because it is working. Unfortunately for our families and individuals that have lost loved ones, our sympathies are with them, but we also know that it's expected, unfortunately. We just want to keep it as low as possible.
So moving forward with working with Muldrow and whoever else, have you worked with him in the past too, and kind of what has that relationship been like, and what are you kind of hoping for as you move forward?
So I've known Commissioner Muldrow ever since I was in high school. I also served on the York City School Board, and under the York City School Board, we brought in our own police department and appointed Commissioner Muldrow as the head of our police department for the school district. He brought in innovative ideas at that time. And when I was on city council, we also approved Commissioner Muldrow as the commissioner for the York City Police Department. So I've known him for years. We have a wonderful working relationship, and I think the morale that I picked up from the police department is pretty well. So we just want to continue that and make sure it keeps on going.
You bring up 2 good points there. First of all, you talk about innovative ideas. One of them, being the night towers, right? So can you talk to me about that? What are your plans for the night towers? Are you going to continue that? What other ideas have you maybe spoken about?
Well, I've always been a supporter of accountable technology. We're in a time where technology, and there's no such thing as privacy. So my stance is always to make good decisions, have good policies, procedures in place, because it has to outlast the individuals that are in office, and that'll continue to be my stance.
The second thing there is you talk about your experience, growing up here and also working here. So tell me about that. What do you think, if you're talking to the people who are watching here a week away from the mayoral race, or from the primary election, I should say, tell me kind of what do you think you bring to the table for those watching?
Well, I'm committed, compassionate, and consistent. I have over 14 years with a local elected experience, serving on the school board, with city council. If you look at my record, I'm for financial accountability. without tax increases unless it jeopardizes essential services. I'm committed to our young people. Through my careers and positions in athletics, I've always put our young people first, and I always am going to put the city of York first. There's no agendas attached to this, and if you look at how unconventional this campaign season has been, you would know that there's no agendas for me. I just want to make sure the city of York is a great place to live, work, and play.
Thank you. Anything else that I did not touch on here?
No, other than I would love the support of York City residents on May 20th, a week away.
All right. Thank you so much for meeting with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
In the rain, yes, on a rainy day. So thank you everybody so much for watching, and you can stay tuned later tonight at 5 and 6 o'clock at CBS 21 News, Channel 21. Thanks so much.